Hey everybody, hey, it's Lee Godbold with Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. In today's video, what we're going to talk about is something extremely important because right now it's October. We're at the end of October. We're kind of going into winter. Most all junk removal business owners out there are thinking about winter, and if you're not careful, you'll make one or all of these three common mistakes that junk removal business owners make. Before we get into the video, make sure to check out our newly released or our recently offered junk removal virtual assistant. So if you have any back-end tasks that you need to get done, or if you need somebody dedicated to answering your phone calls as they come in, as they come through, and it's hard to find anybody local now to do that. We've actually got an awesome service, highly talented individuals, virtual assistants that can book jobs for you and do many other tasks on the back end. It's at a great price also. So make sure you call 919-617-1975 if you're interested in that JRA Junk Removal Virtual Assistant. All right, three common mistakes. Let's just roll right into the very first one, which is they turn away business before winter starts. And you're probably thinking, this sounds ridiculous. Well, they aren't directly saying, hey, we're not doing work because we're going into winter. But what happens is, let's say they get into late August, September, definitely October, November, and they're real busy still. And there are a lot of companies out there that are still very, very, very busy. What happens is, because they know they're going into winter, they don't hire people and they don't get more trucks. So what happens here? By not hiring people and by not getting more trucks, well, they're having to turn away work. And it might not be a ton of jobs, but you never know. If you have to turn away 6, 8, maybe 10 jobs over a 2 or 3 month time frame because you're so busy preparing for winter, you never know when one of those 6, 8, or 10 jobs could have been a humongous job, maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, or more importantly, or more likely anyway, that one job, it could have been a smaller job you turned away, because you're probably not going to turn away a really big one, but it could have been a smaller one that could have led to a much larger one, or could have led to consistent work throughout the wintertime. So by cutting off business in the fall in preparation for winter, you slow down during the winter. It goes same token on not getting enough trucks to be able to cover it. You either don't have the people because you're worried about not keeping them busy through the winter, or you don't get the trucks because you're worried they're not going to be busy through the winter. So what's happening here in all three of these mistakes is you start to create what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I'll put that right up there. Basically, by saying that I'm going to be slow during the wintertime, you are making yourself slow during the wintertime. It is the definition of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So point one, they turn away business. The second, they don't stay busy even when they don't have work. Well, you're probably thinking, well, of course, you're not going to be busy when you don't have work. The junk removal business owners that do the best in this business are the ones that work all year long. They don't stay busy when they don't have jobs. So what do we mean by this? Well, you've got truck-based marketing, yard signs, flyers, your crews. When your crews aren't busy, you should still be getting them some hours. You might cut back on their hours. They might go from working 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 35 hours a week, or whatever. They might cut back to 20, 25, maybe 30 hours during some of the slower time. But you need to make sure that you're keeping them out there. That way you can retain them at least as long as possible. And truck-based marketing is a great way of doing it. Any type of networking, excellent time to do it. Vehicle maintenance, awesome time to take your vehicles down, get them worked on while they don't have to be in service. That way you're prepared for once it gets busy. There's a multitude of other things you could be working on here. Parking, part of truck-based marketing is parking your trucks in visible areas. It could even be volunteering. Go to a local donation center that is looking for people to kind of check in donatables and just for an exchange say, hey, can I park my truck outside? Can we pass out a business card in exchange? I'll provide labor to actually bring stuff inside your store. A lot of those donation centers, they won't go on second floors. So people will bring stuff to the center. They'll want to get rid of stuff that's off of a second floor, but they're unable to. And that's when you have a great opportunity for a junk removal business to come in and remove stuff. Or they have items that simply aren't donatable. So that's the second thing. They don't stay busy when they don't have jobs. Your junk removal business is going to be made. How big your business gets is going to be determined with what you do when you're slow, not what you do when you're gangbusters busy for the most part. The guys that do the best are drumming up business, are working on their business even when they don't have jobs. And then the third thing, very common, is they reduce marketing spend. They reduce marketing spend. So I'll try and make some sort of a comparison here. You have Elon Musk. Elon Musk is launching rockets into the sky. He's bringing satellites on it. He's charging the U.S. government, making a whole bunch of money with SpaceX now. Let's say, when he first started SpaceX, it almost completely bankrupted him. He had 3 or 4 rockets, I can't remember how many, but 3 or 4 rockets that crashed back down to the ground. And basically, he had one more chance. He had to have a successful launch in order to land a large U.S. government satellite contract. And if that launch didn't work, not only was it going to bankrupt SpaceX, but there's a good chance it was actually going to financially ruin him altogether. So this would have been like, let's say Elon had to make the successful 5th launch, but he tried to save a little money. And he said, well, I want to launch this rocket, but I don't want to spend money on the rocket fuel. The rocket fuel in your junk removal business is your marketing. If you have been tracking your marketing and you understand, I'm spending $3,000 a month on Google Ads, I'm spending $8.95 a month or whatever on SEO, I'm spending $1,500 a month on direct mail, I'm spending $500 a month on yard signs, whatever you're using, if you've been tracking how much you're spending and how much money that's bringing in terms of business into your company, then you should have an understanding that, hey, this is profitable for me. So when I go, let's say we're spending altogether between management fee and to Google, we're spending $3,000 a month on Google Ads. And you're saying, well, we're going into winter. It's going to be slow during the winter. I want to cut off that $3,000 so I save that $3,000. The problem is that $3,000 might have been bringing you in $15,000 a month in business. Could be a little less, maybe a little more. And that's just in the short term. When you look in the long term, as soon as you start getting repeat business, referral business, and online reviews, it's even greater. So what occurs is when you cut back on that marketing spend going into winter, you cut off your top line revenue because you've taken the fuel out. You no longer have the rocket fuel to help propel your business. What's also occurred is you have now made your subsequent busy season as well as the following winter slow as well because you've removed a lot of the 3 R's. The repeat business, the referral business, and the review business. This is one of the largest mistakes that we see people make. It starts with you not knowing how profitable your advertising actually is. So if you're with JRA, we're able to track conversions as well as on most websites, if you're using one of our websites, exactly or close, is if you're using WorkEase properly, really exactly how much money your advertising source is bringing in. Now you have to be tracking it properly and entering it properly through WorkEase. But if you're doing that, we can tell you what you're making and you can understand if it's profitable or not. So you do not want to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you do any of these 3 mistakes, you will be setting yourself up for a slow winter. Now here's something to keep in mind, and most junk removal business owners don't realize it. January 1st through March 15th, actually we'll say 14th, equals slow season. Now, you might be a little slower potentially in October, November, December than you were from March 15th through the end of August, the end of September, wherever it might fall. You might be a little slower, but you're not really going to fall. You're not really going to see a big fall off until January 1st through March 15th. But here's the deal. If you are growing, most junk removal businesses are growing at such a rate, if you're advertising hard, you might actually outgrow the slowdown. An established business, been in business for 10 years or more, or maybe 5 years, but 5 to 10 years might see a pretty good drop off in this time frame. But a new business, a lot of times you'll actually outgrow what reduction in business is going to take place in that time frame. If you want to build a great junk removal business, make sure to check us out online at junkra.com. And more importantly, make sure you don't make any of these 3 huge winner mistakes that junk removal business owners make. I'm Lee Godbold with Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. See you next time.